dad drops off the toddler, and so during that time you have that because you love to sleep,
Right.
and I ain't staying up too late because the next day is there and I have to be present for that as well.
Correct.
So time management.
Correct.
Yeah. What's been your biggest takeaway from parenting so far?
I don't think there's such a thing as perfection. Every child has taught me something different. And Lily has just literally thrown everything.
That's such a pretty name.
She's Lily Rose. She's thrown everything that I thought I knew about motherhood
Out the window?
out the window. There's no such thing as perfection. So I think my biggest takeaway is to give myself grace. Everything is a learning experience, and it's a journey for both you and your child.
Yeah.
And each one of them teaches me that at a different stage.
Do you so what's interesting with the number of kids that you have, do you find that you have to spend time with each of them individually?
I try to make time, and then I think time presents itself as well.
Yeah.
So whether it's my son choosing his options for high school because he's going into 10th grade next year, or my 10-year-old, he's going to be a prefect next year. So
that's
we have
important
that
to him.
Correct.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
we celebrate him.
Yeah.
Lily always gets the individual time because she's the baby. And then Kai is kind of always talkative. So he tells you when he needs
Yeah.
that additional time. So
Okay.
you have to be intentional.
Wow. Awesome. All right. And I guess my last question for you is, how do you find me time with all that's going on? Because it's a lot going on. How do you find me time?
Would you believe that I got in my car 2 nights ago and I drove around for 3 hours? I went to McDonald's.
On this little island?
On this little island.
Okay, tell me what you did.
I parked on Porter Ski Dock. I looked for a little while. Then I went to McDonald's. I had some fries and a McFlurry. I read a little bit until my phone died. And yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I take myself to lunch in the middle of the day. Just leave them doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I like to do, nails if I can, or hair if I can. But those things tend to seem like a chore now. So
do you think while you're there, do you sit and think like, what else could I be
correct.
doing while I'm
Because I'm there multitasking. So I have to intentionally tell myself,
like,
put it down,
put the phone down.
relax.
Yeah.
And
And
then
enjoy it.
catching up with my girlfriends.
Yeah.
I still make time for that.
That's amazing. That's good. Especially the French fries.
With the McFlurry, you have to put it in the Oreo.
The French fries?
I told you this body is 2 babies. I can't. I need to look like that.
I mean, I eat fries too, but
With the
McFlurry?
You have to have it with the McFlurry.
Y'all,
You have to have it.
everybody's
You're welcome.
laughing.
You're welcome. I just put you on. You're welcome. Do it this weekend and then tell me about it.
Wow. Anyway, okay. This has been great.
It has been great.
You have to come back.
Anytime. You let me know.
Thank you for joining us, guys. This is LaShanta Smith, the amazing, because I don't know how she does it. This is the amazing LaShanta Smith. So this video will be live, I want to say in June. This will be live in June. So join us on YouTube. I'm sure LaShanta is going to share this because that's what she does. She's a digital, I want to say digital business coach.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
So I do digital marketing and I'm a digital media coach.
So this going to be shared. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you, LaShanta.
My
It was
pleasure.
great having you. Take care.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, a group of seniors not happy with the assistance offered by social services. The man gunned down last week in the inner city has been identified. And the Grand Bahama AIDS Awareness Committee still promoting education. Bahamas Tonight starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, the local social services department coming under fire tonight as a group of senior citizens claim that they are in desperate need of help. Our ZNS News team also speaking with the officer in charge, who admits that while there are some hiccups at the local department, they are doing the best that they can. Shashina Will-Farquharson reports.
You want to have your grandmother, somebody sitting out, this is not right, this is not humane.
Outside in the blazing heat, a long line with senior citizens outside of social services waiting, in some cases for hours, to be assisted. While some were given chairs, others waited in their vehicles, but many upset as they claim that they are not able to receive timely service at the local social services department. Among them, Alice Miller, who says that she has not received any assistance since her card expired in February.
And I waited for like 3 hours sitting in my car. I told them they know I was here because after that they tell me to come out the hot car and sit in the chair. I sat there for about an hour and then I left. I went to the door. They say, come back tomorrow. I say, nothing ready yet. They say, don't come back tomorrow. I came back this morning and...
You're becoming emotional. Talk a little bit about why you're becoming emotional at this point.
They don't consider us.
Who is us?
Try to help to say this or I won't, or whatever. That's how I feel. Very, very bad because it's no help.
For Alma Roberts, she claims that she was waiting in line from 6 a.m. Tuesday morning and has been in need of an emergency food coupon since March.
I came to them, I asked for emergency coupon, even though I'm on a monthly, because I let them know I don't even have sugar in my house to make tea because I'm not working. Right now I'm shaking. Why? Because I need to eat. And to be treating us like that is wrong.
With no immediate family assistance, Sarah Lee Miller says her only help is social services.
My husband is 85 in the car. He's 85. We don't have no kids. Not a check, nor a child. We don't have no help.
We also met Ian Neely in the line waiting to be served. While he applauds some of the social services workers for their hard work, he says timely service is needed, especially for senior citizens.
My mother's a senior. Mother's 79 years old. So she has a heart problem. That's why I'm here on behalf of her, to assist her because she was getting assistance from social service. And they helped her, but some of the process was taking too long.
Our ZNS News team also going inside to meet with Chief Welfare Officer Dorothea Gomez, who says that they are aware of some of the challenges. However, she added that they always try their best to accommodate, in particular, senior citizens.
There have been some delays in persons getting food due to the challenges that we are experiencing. But we have been doing our best to assist them as best as we can. Now, you're telling me a senior saying that she has not received any assistance from January. I would really have to look into that because I know that we try to assist seniors especially. So I will have to speak with my senior citizens unit about that.
Now, Gomez also went outside to personally meet with some of the senior citizens and address their concerns. She adds that with the recent launch of the new Digital Promise Initiative, it is a service where social services clients can sign up online for services, and it is expected that accessing these services will soon be more efficient. Shashina Wolf-Farquharson, ZNS Network News.
Now, our ZNS News team reached out to the minister responsible for social services, Obi Boshcom, who reassures that the completion of the transition to the Promise Initiative is to ensure more efficient and dignified services are delivered to the Grand Bahamian people. He adds that the local social services department has been directed to provide all services with or without the Promise card during the transitional period. In other news, police are continuing investigations into the fatal shooting that occurred last Thursday morning in the Bruce Avenue area. Police say a man had just pulled up at his residence when he was approached by a gunman who chased him and shot him several times about the body. The victim has been identified as 47-year-old Javon Livingston Pinder. The search continues for the gunman. Meantime, police need your help in finding 33-year-old Jamal Jerome Chatlin. They want to question him in connection with murder. His last known address, number 110 Watergate Drive. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, medium brown complexion, brown eyes with dreadlocks. Anyone spotting him should contact the police at 911 Crime Stoppers at 352-1919, 350-3106, or 9. In other news, medical officials say the number of HIV/AIDS cases in the country within the past 10 years seem to be on the decline. Officials continue to point out that education, medication, and treatment are important for those individuals with HIV/AIDS in order to live a longer, healthier life. Jamila Mizik reports.
For the past few years, the global COVID-19 pandemic has been the main topic of discussion around the world, leaving many to question whether or not illnesses and diseases have become non-existent. One of them, the HIV/AIDS virus. Well, chairperson of the Grand Bahama AIDS Awareness Committee, Africa Karamo Miller, says HIV/AIDS is still very much present. She notes that while there seems to have been a decline in the number of HIV/AIDS cases in the Bahamas, it should not be taken lightly, and she's sharing the importance of breaking the stigma.
Any type of stigma I don't believe in, but it's important because once we get beyond that, then we can be more empathetic to those persons who do have HIV and AIDS, because we have to realize by the grace of God, especially as being sexual beings, that could be either of or any of us. And so it's important to break that stigma and help us to become more compassionate and to reach out and also take more, take more ownership of our status as it relates to knowing whether we have HIV or AIDS or any other sexually transmitted infections.
Karamo Miller says HIV/AIDS is not a death sentence and persons can have a healthy life with medication and treatment. She notes that it is important to encourage HIV/AIDS awareness and education, especially as it relates to the youth.
Something has to be said towards medication and treatment. I know definitely mother-to-child transmissions have been reduced dramatically. And like you said, education is important. I'm in the school system and we try to speak with the children and have programs. Of course, we've been doing a lot of stuff online due to the fact of COVID and, not really being full-face for quite a while. But even having programs online, educational sessions where children can, get information. Because a lot of people have misconceptions and myths that need to be dispelled still. So definitely education and awareness has made persons more comfortable, I feel, to speak about it and to learn a little bit more about it.
And she shares how you can know your status.
You can always go to the clinic. The infectious diseases program, they do rapid testing. Now, I know the Bahamas is also leaning towards home testing. I know that's something that is definitely that they're pushing. We have not, I don't know all this, the statistics in terms of if it's really full front, but that's another way I think you would get more persons interested because they don't have to worry about people looking at them and, kind of identifying who they are. But then if they have the home testing kits, I think that would also make persons more comfortable with finding out their status.
Now, Miller says this month they will join in the International AIDS Candlelight Memorial.
Generally around the world, it's the grassroots efforts to acknowledge those persons who would have succumbed to HIV and AIDS. So it generally happens annually on the third Sunday in May. And so this year we are going to have what we call an AIDS Candlelight Memorial Concert. So we want to recognize persons who would have succumbed to HIV and AIDS, but we also want to kind of still send a message or eradicate discrimination and stigma, and to recognize those persons who are, on the forefront of HIV/AIDS, fighting against it.
The memorial will be held at St. Jude's Medical Center on Sunday, May 15th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Now, also from the Health Beat, it is Nurses Month, and Nurses on Grand Bahama kicked off activities with an official opening ceremony at the C.A. Smith Building. This year's theme is Nurses, a Voice to Lead, Invest in Nursing and Respect Rights to Secure Global Health. Jamila Mizik has the story.
Nurses on Grand Bahama gathering for an official opening ceremony to commemorate Nurses Month. Keynote speaker, Nursing Officer 1 at the Princess Margaret Hospital, Prescola Roll, touching on this year's theme, Nurses, a Voice to Lead, Invest in Nursing and Respect Rights to Secure Global Health.
I believe having this theme shows really the value of nursing and how important they are to global health. And so we we are encouraged to invest in nursing in whatever capacity we can. One of the main things that I want to encourage our nurses is that we have to be the protectors of our profession. We have to support each other, and like the other speaker said, we have to invest in ourselves and in our profession. So I believe if we do that, we can propel nursing beyond our imagination.
Grand Bahama Health Services Principal Nursing Officer Sherlyn Bain also speaking to the theme and how it relates to nurses on Grand Bahama.
This year they're asking us to invest in nursing and to secure a right to global health. And so that speaks to population health. And as you heard this morning, we do have nurses in all of the clinics looking at global health and in the hospital and everything. So we are well on our way to look at population health. We are responsible also for Grand Key. So they're on Zoom. And Sweetens Key is about to open, so a nurse will be there eventually. So when you're looking at the community of Grand Bahama, I will say that we are well situated as it relates to global health and being able to do quite a bit of health education to the population. So you'll know how to access and when to access health, and also having a callback system. So we have nurses doing many activities to ensure that the population of Grand Bahama is well served as it relates to health delivery.
She speaks to one of the challenges in nursing here on the island.
We had a mass exodus of nurses. We had about 31 registered nurses who left us, but we were able to recoup from the College of the Bahamas or the University of the Bahamas and even our local training center, Tarif College, we were able to keep the ship afloat. And so if you were to ask the average nurse, they would say shortage of staff, but we are able to manage right up and now. We are doing pretty good. But we are still recruiting overseas. As you would imagine, during COVID, everybody shut down their borders. We weren't able to get a nurse from anywhere. And I know the minister was looking at going into Cuba, and we are part of that process. So we're waiting to see how many nurses we'll get from there.
Nurse Bain says they're also looking at ways for Grand Bahamian nurses to complete their studies at home.
As it relates to nurses in Grand Bahama, if they would also tell you the educational opportunities is not here for them. Most of our postgrad courses are in New Providence, but we're trying to work on that to see if we could create a hybrid system where they can study online and then go to Nassau for minimal time. And if that is established, I think that will bring a lot of smiles to their faces.
And on this Nurses Month, she's commending nurses across the country for their exceptional service. Shamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
Well, more accolades coming in for the newly crowned Miss Teenager Universe. 17-year-old Flanique Lightburn captured the Best Talent Award and also walked away with the prestigious crown during the international pageant in Panama over the weekend. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, extending congratulations to the Queen on winning Miss Teenager Universe pageant. Minister Moxie calls it a major accomplishment for Grand Bahama and the Bahamas, and adds that the Ministry for Grand Bahama was proud to partner with the Miss Teenager Universe local organizing committee to support her to capture the international title. The Ministry for Grand Bahama Collab Partnerships for Development Unit, noting that the contributions made by organizations in this sector afford opportunities and positively impact the lives of young Bahamian women. And congratulations also coming in from the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag. The Grand Bahama native won this prestigious crown during an international pageant in Panama over the weekend. Minister Bolag applauded her stellar representation of the Bahamas as she captured the Best Talent Award during the pageant. He stated that she is one of the many young, talented, dedicated, and courageous teenagers who continue to represent this great country with pride and in pageantry. Minister Bolag also recognized her support system, noting that her high level of excellence displayed on a consistent basis will not go unnoticed.
Being a mom is the most rewarding title a woman can have. Remember, you play an important role in the lives of your children. I want to encourage you to teach your children. Teach them to love God, to obey God, to honor God. Train your children. They're following your example. Their lives will be impacted by the life that you live. Remember, you are the most important person in the lives of your children. They will love you, they will listen to you, and they will follow your life's example. It's important to teach your children to put God first, because God is the most important person in their lives. He has a plan for them, a good plan, a good future, a hope for them to give them success in life. Living the life that God has planned and ordained can only be effective if you live that life out before them. They will follow your example. They will follow your lead, and they will listen to the words that you speak. Remember, moms, you have the most important role that you can play in the lives of your children. Be there for them, love them, nurture them, and usher them safely on the shores of adulthood. Happy Mother's Day.
Come on down. Come on down now.
Celebrate Mom this Mother's Day at any of the 2 fabulous restaurants for brunch at the Grand Lacayan Hotel, Churchill's, or Portobello's. Ticket box office is at Lighthouse Point Lobby.
Welcome to Port in a Minute, an informative segment brought to you by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, where we update you on the latest news taking place within the Port Group of Companies and our community.
Today, we are excited to announce that our licensing process is now fully digital. Our new online gateway, the Freeport Business Portal, allows entrepreneurs to apply for a business license, track the approval process, and receive free information about funding resources. It provides support for licensees searching for available locations, wanting to develop a business plan, and so much more. Existing licensees can get access to free training and ongoing assistance from our Small Business Bureau, and can request information about upcoming initiatives to assist their business. Our portal is designed to ensure that all customers can have access to helpful resources 24/7. It is our commitment to do our part and enhance the ease of doing business in Freeport. Visit business.gbpa.com to see how we can help you.
That was Port in a Minute, brought to you by the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Be sure to tune in next time for more updates.
Heroes, they can come at you in many forms. They often make history. They make medical breakthrough. They sometimes can be very romantic. At times, they will leave you in suspense and craving for more. Escape your home without actually leaving home and find your hero.
Esquire Men's Freeport presents Passion for Fashion Saturday, May 14th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Lucaya Shopping Center. Admission is free.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
They're trying to push rich on me. They want to push rich on me. They don't care in front of company. The
King of the North is back. Cowboys 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The dream of higher education is now within reach for a student of the 8 Mile Rock High School. The 12th grader attended a recent college fair with the hope of getting some financial help. And as Jaquan tells us, he now has every reason to celebrate.
Kijaro Tucker, a deputy head boy at the 8 Mile Rock High School, is preparing for Bulldogs Nation this coming fall. The Bahamas Think HBCU College Fair is responsible for introducing Tucker to the president of Jarvis Christian College, the institution awarding Tucker with a scholarship. Tucker says he traveled to New Providence for the very first time to accept the scholarship, noting that he applied with the hope of alleviating the financial burden.
I noticed that I won't have the funds to make it to college on time, and I know having a job and studying is a little difficult, so I try to minimize, get myself the best possible chance to be great. So I applied for a full scholarship, and I got it. It was a nice experience going there, and then over there seeing everything, and then plus to get a scholarship. That was amazing. It's $20,000 every year, so over 4 years, that's basically $80,000 I saved. And I'm extremely happy and thankful for the opportunity. I won't forget that day.
Carlene Davis-Williams, guidance counselor assisting Tucker, she says because of his credentials and imprint he left, he was able to secure the scholarship.
Kijaro was able to secure that scholarship because once he would have registered and he had put in his credentials, once the student had earned over a 3.5 cumulative GPA, they were invited into a special session with college presidents where they were able to interact with the presidents of the HBCU institutions. And Kijaro, I was not in the room, but Kijaro did so well. He impressed them, and one of the colleges the president was like, oh, I need to have this young man at my institution, and he was able to offer him a scholarship. He is just so articulate. He's outspoken. He talks a lot, but in a good way, He's a very intelligent young man, and I feel he's going to do well. He's going to go far in life.
Principal Chester Cooper is thanking the guidance department for encouraging and pushing students like Kijaro to get scholarships.
He's one of our, again, excellent student, very manly, hardworking. I met him 4 or 5 years ago. He's always been the same, very respectful, and he's a role model for many of our students, especially in the classroom. He worked extremely hard. He's well focused, and this now shows exactly, again, what hard work does to get a full scholarship to Jarvis College.
Kijaro has this message for fellow students who are interested in attending college and are seeking scholarships.
Honestly, when it comes to scholarship and stuff, you have to advocate yourself. Don't just sit down and expect someone to say, hey, I see a full scholarship. Go out there, make yourself known, and then try your best. Someone will notice hard work pays off.
I'm Azure Quant, ZNS Network News.
Congratulations. And now to your Tuesday evening sports check with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. Well, Grand Bayman athletes continuing to excel abroad, but before we get into that, the Island Sports completed last night at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex, and we have the overall scores. After 7 long days of competition at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex, the final results are in for Island Sports. Yesterday's hurdles and relay points certainly made a difference in tallying points. But after it was all said and done, it was Tabernacle Baptist Academy that captured their 9th consecutive title in the senior division with a total of 492 points, just 30 points ahead of St. George's, who finished in second.
For the Falcons into the senior division, we trailed. Every time the scores came out, we know we had done well, but we continued to trail. And going into the final events, it was just the grace of God. And there was one point in the meet that I was ready to throw in the towel. I was like, so much things was happening that was beyond my control. But I dig deep, and I had good support from Miss Bain, my principal, and Mr. Laker Williams to hold my head up and come true. continue to coach, these kids are going to do what they're supposed to do. And at the end, we're the victors.
Now in the junior division, this one was a close one as well, but ultimately it was Sister Mary Patricia Russell Junior High that beat out Tabernacle to keep their winning streak alive with 418 points.
It feels great, actually, to know that Sister Mary once again prevailed as a champion, the junior champions. We put a lot of work in. Even though with the pandemic and all that, we just had to go with what we had here. A lot of athletes actually was laid off for quite some time. And in a short time, we had to train with them and get them back into shape or some kind of shape to perform and defend our championship.
Rounding out the top three in the junior division was Tabernacle with 376.5 points, followed by Jackie with Junior with 355.5 points. Switching gears now in tennis, Abigail Sims and her Indiana Tech women's tennis team defeated Aquinas 4-0 and UNHO 4-0 to take their second consecutive Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference Tournament Championship. Sims competed in the doubles and singles for the Warriors to help her team win the overall crown. Up next, Sims and her Indiana Tech Warriors now receive an automatic berth to the NAIA Women's National Tennis Championship in Mobile, Alabama on May 17th through the 21st. And finally, in sports, the WNBA is back, ladies and gents, which means it's JJ time. In a return to the WNBA from overseas, Jonquel Jones showed signs of her dominance expected to come this season for the Connecticut Sun. Playing in just 14 minutes on Sunday, Jones led the Sun to a 94-78 preseason win over the Atlanta Dream. Jones scored 15 points on 6 of 11 from the field to go along with 2 rebounds and 2 assists. The regular season is expected to begin this Friday, May 6th, with the Sun taking on the Indiana Fever in their season opener. That's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
With a mission to be the best, world-class athletes depend on Alive to stay connected. With our Freedom Plans, choose the way you want to be connected with a 1-day or 7-day Freedom Plan. With our 30-day Liberty Plans, choose the right bundle of talk, text, and data. And for postpaid, we've got Liberty Bundles loaded with talk, text, data, and even roaming. Alive's hard-working network was built for hard-working people. No matter your goal, we have a plan that you can depend on. We are Alive.
Mothers are meant to be treasured. Make this Mother's Day one that she will never forget. Shop Bellevue Gifts and Supplies, Queens Highway, for great gift ideas.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
It's the afternoon beat. Afternoon beat. 8:10 a.m. Afternoon beat with Zion. Join me Monday to Friday from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 8:10 a.m. It's the afternoon beat with Zion. Breakfast, baby.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Well, Lincoln Dawson Jr., you are our Facebook friend of the day, and as always, we thank you so much for your support. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, COVID protocols a must at Carnival. Millions at NIB arrears, VAT revenues up, and Aiden's big night. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapindo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for joining us. You can bet the Junkanoo community is working feverishly to stage the upcoming carnival later this month, the first time in 3 years. While you can thank that delay to the COVID-19 pandemic, the question remains, can the event be held safely? Well, it's a question the Minister of Health attempts to answer in this report from our Cleopatra Murphy.
Hundreds of gyrating bodies are set to hit the streets on May 21st as Bahamas Carnival Road March makes its grand return. This is amid the continued presence of COVID-19. Justifying the decision, Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says health officials feel comfortable the country can host events of that caliber.
We want to open other sectors of the business community. Events are one of those concerns that we are monitoring very closely. I am comfortable looking at the hospital admissions as well as those who end up admitted at the ICU level, that we are in a relatively good position, but we need to be mindful that we're still in the pandemic.
His comments come despite Darville recently stating that a hold had been placed on loosening further COVID-19 restrictions due to rising infections in the past few weeks, along with the presence of the new BA4 and BA5 Omicron strains. The two, said to be even more transmissible, have been detected in the neighboring U.S. Still, Carnival organizers have been granted approval for hundreds of revelers, but have suggested the letter was a mistake, and they anticipate up to 1,000 participants.
I reviewed the letter. It said 500 people. It said that the necessary protocols must be in place. It spoke specifically about vaccination and individuals having rapid antigen tests 72 hours before the events. These are absolutely necessary protocols to protect the safety of those who are participating and reduce the possibility of spread of COVID-19.
The Minister of Health insists that if there are to be any changes, event organizers must notify his agency and be given that approval. He says officials are working with event organizers, recognizing the importance of that sector to the economy.
We have decided at the Ministry of Health and Wellness that events is now back on the table. It's a sector of the economic engine that is essential for us to create employment opportunities. And we are mindful that the organizers of these events will be, what's the word I want to use now, will be responsible.
Darville says most event planners understand we are in a pandemic and are taking into consideration the necessary health protocols. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, just like that, we're back up to double-digit COVID cases, all 19 of them on the island of New Providence. We can tell you that 6 of the newly infected traveled within the past 2 weeks. Meantime, there's a slight drop in local hospitalizations. That went down from 8 to 7 overnight. On the other end, 6 people reportedly recovered from the virus on Monday. And of Monday's 134 RT-PCR tests, just 1 was a repeat. Well, now to financial news this evening. Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Halkitis, revealing an increase in value-added tax collections, which proves the government's revenue is continuing to perform well.
So far, for the first 3 months, we did it on the 1st of January of this year. For the first 3 months, we're actually trending ahead of even as far back as 2019. And so we have not seen a significant drop-off. As a matter of fact, we've seen some increases.
Well, the government attributes the VAT increase to more people working and spending money here at home.
When we said that we would reduce VAT from 12% to 10%, part of our reasoning was it would leave more money in people's pockets so that they'll have it to spend. The biggest element is the economy is open. You walk around, you see, 6 cruise ships in the harbor. The airport is packed. Every flight is full. You can't get a room in the hotel. So the economy is moving, and that is what's really driving it. There's an element of inflation, but the biggest part of it is movement in the economy.
Meantime, the country's tourism sector rebound, also contributing to economic growth. Fern Carey has more on the central bank governor's take on what's driving the industry's revival.
The revival of international travel as a result of relaxed COVID-19 restrictions and pent-up demand following pandemic lockdowns, providing a significant boost to the Bahamian tourism sector, with the central bank reporting that stopover visitor arrival numbers to the country are extremely encouraging. Central Bank Governor John Roll, who provided details on the sector's recovery in his quarterly economic press briefing Monday, says the period of January to March 2022 was the first time that the Bahamas experienced undisrupted business since 2019.
Airport departure data, which is a good benchmark for the stopover sector, quarterly visitor volumes appear to have regained about 75% of the traffic experienced in the same period of 2020, which had been spared the brunt of the lockdown. However, this still leaves important gains to be recouped before the 2019 pre-pandemic baseline for the winter season would be eclipsed.
Central bank figures also show that the vacation rental market has improved significantly in recent months, recording increased occupancy levels and higher average nightly room rates.
Recent trends have also been characterized by an expanded share of business going to the Family Islands, where more than half of all listings were noted, and the average occupancy rates trended much higher than in New Providence and Grand Bahama.
Governor Roll also indicated that foreign currency inflows through commercial banks were also higher during the first quarter of 2022 over the same period last year. He says the strength of reserves and the country's improved economic outlook can support a monetary policy for credit expansion.
The reserves as of the beginning of May were just above $3 billion. The central bank expects further seasonal accumulation in the external reserves over the remainder of the peak tourism months before some reduction sets in over the second half of 2022. Nevertheless, we believe that conditions have improved enough such that by the end of 2022, some net gains will remain in the reserves compared to the end of 2021.
The central bank also expects to maintain a cautious but balanced approach to managing the country's foreign exchange reserves while safeguarding the stability of the financial sector. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
In related news, construction underway for the Somewhere Else Resort, part and parcel of Atlantis' multi-million-dollar upgrade. The new property, co-owned by American recording artist Pharrell Williams, will replace the beach tower, which closed before the COVID-19 pandemic. Its scheduled opening is set for the first quarter of 2024.
During that time, we evaluated the product and what we felt was missing from the market, and we entered into an agreement with Groot Hospitality and Pharrell Williams, and we're going to be redeveloping the beach, what was once the beach tower, as Somewhere Else, which will be a lifestyle hotel and bring a lot of new energy and interesting perspective and programming. Certainly a different room product and different food and beverage product than currently exists here in Paradise Island or in Nassau.
Still to come, millions still owed to NIB and a freak accident in Palmdale. More news after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
What? Check old girl, boy. Say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them.
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
They say that when it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give into. A juicy piece of KFC to feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Hello, my name is Joan Evans. I am the Chief Financial Officer for Abundant Life Bible Church. One of my responsibilities is to ensure that the men and women who work in service to the ministry receive their monthly wages and that their NIB contributions are paid on time each month so that their NIB benefits are available when they need it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when everything was shut down, the NIB Employer Self-Service Portal enabled me to make payments from anywhere. I didn't need to be in office or visit NIB, which I find physically challenging anyway. We got notice when NIB's ESS portal started, but we never registered to use it until March 2020, when COVID-19 protocols forced our hand. It was convenient and our payments were instantly credited to our NIB account. I still use it, even though I'm back in the sanctuary office. You should sign up today at ess@nib-bahamas.com.
To think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
A paper has been developed in the CARICOM sub-region to address the whole issue of the international financial architecture. This in light of the continued demands of the European Union, and this despite amended laws and changed regulations. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honourable Fred Mitchell, speaking to the issue during his address this morning to the SICA CARICOM EU Foreign Ministers meeting.
I can tell you that in this asymmetry, with your large economies, what is a very small problem to you is a large problem for small countries like us. And it is difficult for me as a politician in the Bahamas to explain why, in the name of God, it takes 6 months to open a bank account. And the only answer you have is these rules that have been imposed upon us.
American citizens traveling to the Turks and Caicos Islands advised to exercise vigilance due to several crimes reported there. In a security alert Monday, the U.S. Embassy here in Nassau acknowledged 5 recent armed robberies 4 of which took place in Providenciales, specifically in a hotel parking lot, while the 5th occurred in Grand Turk in the vicinity of a short-term rental property. Now, the advisory adding that a burglary occurred at another such property in Providenciales while the guests were away from the property for a few hours. According to the advisory, in other incidents, one U.S. citizen family's rental car was stolen while another's was burglarized. Embassy officials urge Americans in the Twin Island territory to always be aware of their surroundings, use caution when walking or driving at night, don't physically resist any robbery attempt, remove all valued items in their vehicle, and review personal security plans. Well, it was just a regular Tuesday afternoon for 2 New Providence residents when their vehicles got into an accident no one saw coming. Our Anthony Smith has the details on the accident that quite literally fell out of thin air.
Shattered limbs and a pile of broken branches, the result of a midday freak accident.
It sounded like someone was beating drums on the top of the roof.
Eyewitnesses say it was shortly after 2 when that tree came down. Had the driver of that vehicle been inside, it could have gone from bad to worse.
We went upstairs and the lady came to say, while waiting on our lunch to be served, she was like, you all heard what happened? I said, heard what happened? She said, yeah. They said a truck passed and tipped the tree up, and tipped the tree, and a tree damaged a 2-person car. I said, yeah, wow. When I look out, I wasn't thinking it was my car. When I look out the window and I see my car, I said, oh my God, I have run downstairs and put my door. I said, no man, not my car, not my car.
The tree that smashed 2 vehicles located on the roadside corner of Bradley and Madeira Street. A driver passing by the exact moment of the crash, escaping within inches of his life.
I couldn't even react fast enough. The tree just fell on top of the vehicle. And I just leaned to the passenger side of the vehicle and just tried to brace myself for any debris or stuff that might come through the window.
Officials resorted to calling a crane and a trailer tractor to cart this tree away. Behind us, that tree being cut into smaller pieces to be taken to another location. Now, Acropolis officials say they've removed a problem tree before, noting that ancient trees on high-traffic public property must be given a second look.
Yes, people have to check the trees, make sure they're stable, no have no termites, so that no happen again.
As for the drivers, today, they're both counting their blessings.
Every time I come here, I park right there because my car's small, so I can always find a parking space there. At the end of the day, I give God thanks, and my praises can't stop because that could have happened while me and my partner was in the car, and then what?
Now, the remaining standing branches of that tree were also removed in hopes of preventing a future freak accident. Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
Police inching closer to the source of gun trafficking in the country. It's a long-time concern for authorities. The good thing is there have been recent gun seizures, which Acting Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander sees as proof of the force's success in dismantling local gun rings. In a further effort, several strategy meetings have been scheduled.
We have a meeting scheduled with our ATF partners. We just had one with the DPP office. So we are working this together as a team to throw the net at these individuals who continue to smuggle these weapons.
Relief on the way for residents in desperate need of home repairs, just a month shy of what's predicted to be an above-active Atlantic hurricane season. The government this afternoon launched a new small home repairs program at the Urban Renewal Commission office, Centerville. LaDawn Davis was there.
$2.6 million pumped into repairing the homes of hundreds of Bahamians still grappling with the beating past hurricanes dealt on their homes. The most severe, Hurricane Dorian. At Tuesday's relaunch of the Small Home Repairs Program, Minister of State the Honorable Lisa Ramming said she was surprised by what she discovered while conducting an initial assessment of small homes across this country.
Roofs are leaking, and you know what? We have moved beyond just the roofing repair as the last administration did. During our moving about in the community, we've inspected many homes, and we found out not only roofs need to be repaired, there are some people that don't have bathrooms, certain places are in disrepair, some people don't have running water. It's so much that is not in place.
The actual number of homeowners applying for assistance have not been disclosed, or which areas are the intended target. However, Chairman Stephen Dean says the criteria is simple.
They must verify that they own the property. Correct. Because we have had experience in the past
where repairs were done to properties. Next thing, the landlord came and put up the rent or put the people out. So we have taken every precaution. We have learned from our mistakes.
According to Chairman Stephen Dean, at least 7 inspectors are expected to participate in this process.
Our inspectors will go out and examine and then do an evaluation of the costing of what is needed to be done. As for the contractors, the small home contractors, they need to be Bahamian citizens. They must possess a business license. They must have a tax compliance certificate that is up to date.
A committee has been appointed to sift through all of the applications to not only select homes in need, but to ensure fairness and transparency. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
It's not the news many want to hear, but employers are to blame for the tens of millions of dollars owed to the National Insurance Board as they failed to pay employee contributions. Minister responsible for NIB, the Honorable Miles LaRota, maintains, though, that NIB officials continue to pursue and prosecute businesses that don't pay the mandated amount. However, he couldn't confirm how many employers remain delinquent.
I can say that from I've become the minister responsible, I see on a monthly basis in the report those companies that are put before the courts for contributions. It's consistent, and it's concerning to the point that we have to be going through. If you're seeing different names every month, and I think in the dozens kind of lead you to believe that there is a lot of funds out there to be collected.
NIB officials learned about the tardy payments when employees went to collect benefits, only to discover their contributions weren't paid. The government's ensuring that everything is being done to compile the outstanding funds, particularly in the wake of the International Labor Organization's 11th actuarial report that projects the fund would be insolvent by 2028.
In the past, the National Insurance Board have been aware of the dire state of the fund, in particular the pension part of it. I think as these deadlines are put forward, because now 20 years ago, if you're saying the fund will be depleted in 2029, you're talking about 20 plus years down the road. Now you're talking about less than 10. And so the agency is there, and so individuals are now, even at the board itself, who is coming up on that age of retirement around 60, people are anxious and would like to see steps taken to protect the fund itself. For some of them, their national insurance pension will be the only benefits they'll be receiving.
And remember to tune into news updates starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition at 6:30 p.m., all right here on the ZNS News Network.
Western Air introduces new jet flight services between Nassau and Fort Lauderdale. You heard right. Western Air is now flying between Nassau and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Whether you're flying for business, shopping, or taking the family on a quick getaway, Western Air is at your service. Less flight time, more you time. You bring your family, you bring your crew, and we'll bring ours. Western Air, we'll take you there. Now jetting to Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fort Lauderdale.
At the Department of Housing, we are working diligently to expand the path to home ownership. We have streamlined our mortgage application process to make it easier and more convenient for you, our valued clients. The first step in the application process is to register online at www.mothbahamas.com. Registering online is a critical step in the mortgage application process, as it allows for a specific profile to be created, and it also allows you, our valued clients, to easily track and monitor your application as it moves through the various phases. The following documents are required: passport, NIB smart card, voter's card or recent utility bill not older than 3 months old to confirm address, job letter, pay stub, print of current credit facilities, which includes consumer loans and credit cards, For self-employed persons, the Department of Housing will require company documentation, such as a valid business license and business account statements for a minimum of 12 consecutive months. The Department of Housing, making access to quality, affordable housing easier for Bahamians. If you're interested in quality, affordable housing built at the highest construction standards, please register at www.mothbahamas.com or call us at 302-5816.
What? Check old girl, boy. Say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them.
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
At Bank of the Bahamas, we give you lots of reasons to love your life. We offer the lowest rates in the country on debt consolidation and consumer loans. And we help you save with our low-rate switch mortgages. Need a new car? Simply apply for a BOB auto loan and hit the road.
And saving is so easy with higher interest and no monthly maintenance fees.
It's time to live and laugh again. Love the life you live with BOB, your bank of solutions.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Not often the spotlight shines on the press, but today, May 3rd, has been set aside as that one day to recognize and honor the essential work of the Media Corps, those frontliners who have brought attention to key local and international issues in the best and indeed worst of times. On this World Press Freedom Day comes the reminder that without freedom of the press, there are no real democratic societies. Our Desmond Saunders is standing live at the University of the Bahamas, where the discussion centers on journalism under surveillance. Desmond?
Well, a pleasant good evening, McCuskler, and you said it right. Today is World Press Day, a day designated by the United Nations Assembly. Locally, the United States Embassy and the Bahamas Press Club hosting a forum here at the Harry C. Moore Library at the University of the Bahamas to bring awareness to a number of global press media issues. Now, joining me this evening, I have the president of the Bahamas Press Club, Mr. Anthony Capron, joining me live on the broadcast. Good evening, sir. How are you doing? And let's talk about, first of all, the theme. The theme for this year's World Press Day is journalism under digital siege. Now, how important is technology in today's journalism era?
It's very important because, you know, it's very important. You know, if you look at the technology today, you know, with the cameras on your telephones, the tape recorders on your telephones, and you never know who's recording you. You have to be very careful what you say, what you do, and because you never know.
Let's talk about this event. You have a number of speakers. I see a number of media professionals represented from various outlets. Talk about this event here this evening.
We have a guest speaker, Matt Aubrey, who is executive director for responsible governance, and he's very well versed in Freedom of Information Act. So we had him talk about it to this evening. You know, we have the Freedom of Information Commissioner, and he's been doing some things, and Matt is very involved with that, so we had him talk about it this evening.
Thank you very much. And as you heard from Mr. Capron, the Freedom of Information Act, a very much talked about issue. It's been talked about for a couple of months and a couple of years, issue being discussed here at tonight's forum. So that's what's happening here, a press forum in commemoration and celebration of World Press Day. Bakusla, back to you in the studio.
Well, thanks, Desmond. You speak of the Freedom of Information Act, but on a lighter note, you've been in the business for several years now. Who are some of the people who actually inspired you to take the leap into this noble profession?
Wow, that's going to be all night, Bakusla. I think of persons like Debbie Bartlett, Michelle Malcolm. At 10 years old, I came to ZNS to produce and host my first radio program under the leadership of the late Wycliffe Miller. So I stand on the shoulders of great giants, and I'm proud of it.
Well, thanks again. That is our Desmond Saunders reporting from the University of the Bahamas on this World Freedom Press Day. Meantime, the Caribbean Broadcasting Unions partnered with UNESCO to address misinformation and disinformation in the Caribbean. CBU President Kaylisa DeVoe Isaacs noting that since this year's World Press Freedom Day theme, Journalism Under Digital Siege, examines challenges to media viability in different regions and sectors, the project will bolster the regional media's capacity to apply media and information literacy approaches in the production and publication of news and current affairs content. A two-day online training workshop developing training and resource materials relevant to the Caribbean, as well as a joint session between UNESCO and the Public Media Alliance during the CBU's 53rd Annual General Assembly on August 16th in Trinidad and Tobago, are just some of the scheduled events. Well, in other news this evening, an upstart philanthropic organization seeking to make an impact on some of the less fortunate communities here in the capital. The Over the Hill Foundation aims to empower inner city area residents by using $100,000 in funding for programs designed to directly focus on its residents. Here's Chairperson Robert Turnquest.
The Over the Hill Community Development Foundation is a nonprofit organization solely committed to the development of Over the Hill. And the idea is simple. It's to help the people of Over the Hill and to help community thrive. We want to really revitalize and improve the community as much as we can. And we want to do this by really empowering community developers who are on the ground making a difference. The main way we try to empower these community developers is through our grant-making program. So in the Over the Hill Community Development Foundation, we want to award small grants of $3,000 to $10,000 to anybody who has a project or initiative on the ground in the Over the Hill area that's going to make a difference. And so as a foundation, we're solely here to empower those who are on the ground making a difference.
Now, to receive the grant, there are certain qualifications.
We have a grant application that can be accessed online on our website, overthehillfoundation.org. And on the grant application, it lays out all of the criteria, but it's really simple. It's any Bahamian citizen or resident 18 years or older that has a passion for community development in the Over the Hill area is invited to apply. And so you simply download the grant application and you submit it by email to the foundation at info@overthehillfoundation.org.
If you're up for a cultural event this weekend, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture staging another music festival here in the capital. Charles Fisher has the details.
The Carnival Grounds will come alive this Saturday with the This We Things Music, Craft and Food Festival, organized by Alpha Songs and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture.
The idea of this event is to showcase what we are as Bahamian. And so hence the name come up, This We Thing. This weekend, Saturday, May 7th, we're going to feature some of the youngest and brightest Bahamian artisans and performers we have in the country, along with some of the best cooks, chefs we have in the country, along with some of the best art and craft we have in the country.
The success of our Bahamian products, our Bahamian artists, our Bahamian events also depends on the support received from you, the Bahamian public. As the name says, this we think, and it is up to us to come and support. I'm excited to see and experience the work of Bahamian chefs, artisans, and other creatives. As Bahamians, we all should be excited.
And if you missed it, Jonkunu, come on down and experience the rhythm.
Jonkunu is going to play a very important part of this weekend. We intend to open up with the Jonkunu rush out at 6 p.m. and we intend to close at 11:30 with an exit Jonkunu rush out. We know what Jonkunu meant to us. We realize how much we care about it after not having it for such a long time. So everybody who feels and miss Jonkunu, this is a great opportunity for you to re-engage.
Not to worry, all safety protocols will be in place.
We mandated to follow all the safety protocols. Hence is the reason why we choose to use the carnival grounds, because as we all know, it's a very large ground and we will have enough space to fit everybody that comes there. We're going to have the signage to remind persons. We're going to have sanitizing station, and also persons, if you lose your mask while you're eating something like good Bahamian food, we'll always have extra masks to supply you with.
This retains the Saturday Carnival Grounds Best of Bahamian. For the ZNS Network News, I'm Charles Fisher.
And as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
With today's lesson. Bobby, can you tell me the national bird of the Bahamas?
Miss J, we can't hear Bobby because he's fooling around with the other guys.
All right now, y'all settle down. That's okay, Bobby. I'll have a talk with your mom. It's time to transform the way you learn.
Transform the way you learn and improve your in-home Wi-Fi coverage with Eero.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
COVID-19's dealt a serious blow to tourism numbers, but a prime family island destination is busy getting those figures back up. What's the plan in this regard? Exuma's Member of Parliament gave our LaDawn Davis this update.
The Davis administration's approved over $1 billion in investments in a continued push to get more heads and beds. Of that figure, some $500 million will be spent on the bustling island of Exuma. Such news coming on the heels of Exuma's hotel occupancies and car rental businesses being booked to capacity during the National Family Island Regatta. It's a promising trend, Area Member of Parliament and Tourism, Aviation and Investments Minister, the Honourable Chester Cooper, hopes to capitalize on.
We've approved a
a major investment in the southeastern end of Exuma, just off the coast of Little Exuma. Little Exuma is my home, so it's good to know that there's some development on that side as well. That's going to be significant for the economy of Exuma and for the people of Little Exuma. I'm looking forward to that coming to fruition.
Cooper also disclosing that alongside those big-wig investments comes infrastructural upgrades. Exuma's international airport has for years been in dire need of a facelift, but construction was brought to a halt due to a lack of funding.
Prime Minister has committed the resources to the ongoing development of this and other infrastructure in the island Exuma. So we ought to see the ongoing progress very soon. The roads are going to continue. We've had 8 miles of road done just before elections. There must have been some method to the madness, but the reality is there wasn't an ongoing, sustained effort to complete the infrastructural development. The point is, we're going to make that happen.
And to ensure Exuma remains the country's fastest growing economy, Cooper says flights from Toronto, Canada will resume there in just a few weeks.
We are going to get more airlift as is needed, but the reality is people need places to stay. We don't have enough rooms. The Airbnb vacation rental business has been very big, and that's been picking up some of the slack. But the reality is JetBlue will come tomorrow. Delta will provide more flights. Air Canada has at some point been bringing 5-6 flights a week. Air Canada will come again.
The minister is expected to reveal more on these investment opportunities during his contribution to the 2022-2023 budget communication in the House of Assembly later this month. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, Androsians turning out in droves to participate in Culture in the Park's inaugural event in the Family Islands. Desmond Saunders was there.
Scores of Androsians turning up here in Morgan's Wolf, St. Andros for the first ever Culture in the Park, a big boost for this island's economy.
The Culture in the Park was created from in the ministry so that we can get out the 4 walls and to go seek and find untapped talent, skilled individuals, young men and women who has the ability to play music, sing, dance, performing arts, whatever it may be, and also to bring some economic boost to individuals who would have been impacted during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We know in 2019 we would have been structurally, mentally, physically, financially devastated in regards of COVID-19. This is only the beginning of the restoration from COVID-19.
Androsians welcoming the economic revival desperately needed to jumpstart this ailing economy following COVID's big blow.
I just hope they, have this event again for us because we need some boost in North Andros. We really need that. It brings the community together, and that's good. And I think that each and every community should take this on because this is a good representation of the talents that are in the community.
Now, one of the highlights of this event is the variety of food and native drinks that Andros has to offer. Tell me you have the best conch salad on the island.
Well, actually in the Bahamas.
What's the secret?
I can't give my secret recipe.
I have grilled pork, I have pork chop, ribs, chicken, and then we have conch fritter.
A spectacular event attracting both locals and tourists. What have you tried here this evening?
Had some conch fritters, conch salad, everything best.
I think it's awesome. Since I've been here, I haven't really seen anything like this.
Culture in the Park, uniting Androsians and igniting an added spark for the local economy. Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We are under cloudy conditions this evening with a temperature of 79 degrees. Relative humidity 78%. The winds are out of the south at 10 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,017.4 millibars. That's 30.04 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 79 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Tool Key, and Marsh Isle, Barbacoa. The Berry Islands also at 79 degrees. Alistown, Bimini, 80 degrees, 79 in Harbor Island. Rock, Sound, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemps, Base of Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros, all at 80 degrees. 80s again in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey. Georgetown, 81 degrees, 82 in Ragged Island. Clarencetown, Long Island, and Ragged Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81. Acklands, 81. Matthewtown, Inagua, 83 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 81. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight, right through Wednesday, the winds are going to be southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Tide-wise, you can expect your high tide at 10:37 tonight, another high tide at 10:54 tomorrow morning. And as we take you into Thursday in the northwestern islands, those winds are going to fall off light and variable with flat seas. High tide 11:36 in the morning on Thursday with a low tide at 5:34 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
They call me Popcake. I'm in a poor state, yet I stay on guard. I protect their yard. They hardly feed me. Sometimes I'm so thirsty. They say I ain't got no pedigree. They don't love me. They only know me when they need me. They don't love me. They only know me when they need me.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, the extended weather forecast is still ahead.
You should see them. Oh, how they grin as I look for. We elevate, elevate. We elevate, elevate. We elevate, elevate. We elevate, elevate.
The world of information technology is an exciting one, but for too long it's been a male-dominated field. But that's now starting to change, and it will continue to do so with the help of conferences like the Girls in ICT. And BTC is here once again this year to lend its support.
What we're talking about today is access and safety. How do we get girls to encourage girls to begin to get into technology and communications, and how to make them feel safe that they are in a space in which they can flourish and they can, they can grow. BTC is here every day, and 60% of BTC's executive board are women. So BTC is just leading the charge in women in ICT.
This is an awakening of girls to an area that is not traditionally fully subscribed to by women and girls. And so this is very important in terms of raising awareness, encouraging, celebrating, incentivizing girls and young women to participate in an area that is so critical now and so central to everything we do. We have actually made fundamental changes to our curriculum that will begin to awaken very young children into concepts and nuances in the way in which the world is evolving.
Women inclusion at our company is important to us, and inspiring the next generation of young women is something that we at BTC take seriously. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pyfrom. Be well and be back here next. BTC Connection.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Started with today's lesson. Bobby, can you tell me the national bird of the Bahamas?
Miss J, we can't hear Bobby because he's fooling around with the other guys.
All right now, y'all settle down. That's okay, Bobby. I'll have a talk with your mom. It's time to transform the way you learn.
Transform the way you learn and improve your in-home Wi-Fi coverage with Eero.
This segment of the news is presented by Sands, the truly Bahamian beer. This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your sports on this Tuesday. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. Bahamian basketball superstar DeAndre Ayton made his presence felt in Game 1 against the Dallas Mavericks in their best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal matchup on Monday night. Ayton leading the Phoenix Suns in scoring with 25 points on 12-20 shooting. Ayton would score 20 points in the paint while splashing in a few jump shots. Only take one free throw on the night, where he would still lead the Suns to a 121-114 win and a 1-zip series lead. The center pulled down 8 rebounds as well. It was a plus 10 in 33 minutes of play.
Natural. We take what the defense give us. Finishing, small matchups and, having deep steals in the paint and finishing my roles even when I don't get the ball. I'm creating offense for the team, opening up the floor. And, yeah, it was good to see some threes knocked down today, man. That's our type of basketball.
To the collegiate basketball ranks, he had previously committed to play at the University of Louisville, but Bahamian basketball prospect Frederick King is on the move. The 6'10", 220-pound center from Mangrove Key, Andros, has signed a national letter of intent to play basketball at Creighton in the Big East. Head coach Greg McDermott announced his signing on Friday after the big man also took visits to BYU, Georgia Tech, and Utah. King is currently ranked as the number 133 recruit in the latest 24/7 sports ranking of 2022 prospects. McDermott described King as a versatile and athletic frontline player, having played at the NBA Academy Latin America. He's been coached and trained at a high level, adding that his modern competitive spirit will allow for Frederick to have an immediate impact at the Creighton program. The 18-year-old, who did not play organized basketball until he was 14, first became a well-known prospect last September at the NBA Academy Games in St. Louis, when he averaged 23 points and 12 rebounds to lead his NBA Academy Latin America team to a 3-0 record. King's top 2 games at the international event saw him finish with 31 points and 16 rebounds in an 82-61 victory, and then 29 points in a 13-rebound effort in a 93-87 win over the Skills Factory. King was the first native of the Bahamas to enroll in the NBA Academy. In baseball news, Jazz Chisholm Jr. was quick to admit he was amped up on Monday, maybe a little too amped at the start. Chisholm was facing the Arizona Diamondbacks, the team that signed him as an international free agent in 2015 for the first time since he was traded to the Miami Marlins in 2019. Chisholm would finish last night's game 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 1 run scored on an electrifying play to steal home. Unfortunately, it would not be enough as the Marlins would fall to the backs 5-4 and drop to 12-10 on the season. They're currently second in the NL East. They will try to right the ship again tonight against the Diamondbacks on the road. And speaking of baseball players, Hall of Famer Derek Jeter hosting his foundation's gala dinner over the weekend and offered some high praise for Bahamian baseball players on the sidelines of that event.
That might be a coincidence. Yeah, I know there's a lot of great Bahamian players in Major League Baseball and the minor leagues that are coming up, and I know there's a lot of talented players that are here, so it's fun to see. But I've been coming down here to the Bahamas for years, and look forward to, like I said before, hopefully coming down here for many more. Yeah, no problem.
Also in attendance, a few former star athletes who had some positive reviews of their stay in the 242.
It's been great. I love the Bahamas. This is, I think, my 5th or 6th time to the Bahamas. I've been to Nassau 3 times. So, I love it here. I love the people. I love the culture. I love the food. Can't beat the weather. And it's been great.
Mar is beautiful. We came down here a couple years ago and stayed at the Rosewood. And today we're staying at the SLS. And the atmosphere, the festivities, the golf, the water park, it's been perfect. There's no other way to put it. The weather is ideal, and me and my wife are having an unbelievable weekend.
And that's been a look at sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
To be the best, world-class athletes depend on a live to stay connected. We are committed to promoting Bahamian excellence locally and on an international stage. With hundreds of thousands of people depending on us, we must be a strong, fast, and flexible network. With speeds as fast as Joanna and plans as flexible as Donald, there's a plan suitable for everyone starting as low as $1 a day. With our Freedom Plan, choose the way you want to be connected with a 1-day or 7-day Freedom Plan. With our 30-day Liberty Plan, choose the right bundle of talk, text, and data. And for postpaid, we've got Liberty bundles loaded with talk, text, data, and even roaming included. Alive's hard-working network was built for hard-working people. No matter your goal, we have a plan that you can depend on. We are Alive.
I'm Beverly Curry, and in this segment of Ordinary People, you will hear the story of a cancer survivor who is now the producer of Tasty Teas.
Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, that upper-level troughing across the northwest Bahamas will continue to support pockets of showers and isolated thunderstorms, some of which could find their way in your area between tonight and tomorrow morning. Our forecast for tonight, we're going in for partly cloudy conditions with an isolated thunderstorms here and there, 73 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow in the morning, there could be a shower or two with increasing sunshine in the afternoon hours, high temperature around 83 degrees. And your extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, a couple of showers lingering around into Thursday. Things improve quite nicely on Friday, where we'll get lots of sunshine in the forecast, and that will continue through the weekend. Those daytime temperatures will remain in the mid-80s. But just before I go, I'd just like to send a birthday greetings out to Kevin Johnson II. Turned 6 years old today, and that is coming from Delwina and the rest of the Johnson family. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
That exists within the fisheries sector is said to be as vast as the ocean, and the raw marine materials that can be harvested limitless. Those directly involved in the industry say there's room for much more Bahamians, and so you're being invited to come. Set your traps, haul your catch, be your own boss, and work at your leisure. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer, and this is Agriculture Network.